Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mohamed Nour. I'm a corporate associate with Hamdan and AlShamsi. Greetings from our offices here in Business Bay, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Now, the purpose of this webinar is to introduce you to the new UBO resolution and the requirement of maintaining statutory registries. We've been hearing a lot from our existing corporate clients as well from corporate service providers asking for insight in regards to the new laws and how they will be implemented. So the purpose of this is just to show you how that would work and what to look out for and how to maintain these statutory registries. So the UBO resolution came out as Cabinet Resolution number 58 of 2020. It came into effect on the 28th of August of this year. What it does is that it implements a framework for reporting and registering your beneficial interests, your real beneficial owners, and board nominal members. That includes directors, shadow directors, even power of attorney holders through statutory registries. Now, this applies to all UAE mainland and free zone companies. However, there is an exception, and that is for DIFC, ADGM, and government-owned entities. The governing authority that you must report these statutory registries to vary from mainland and free zone. So for mainland companies, you have to report that to the Department of Economic Development in your respective emirate, or for the applicable free zone authority based on which free zone your company is residing in. In regards to the implementation requirements, all entities must update their statutory registry by October 27th, 2020. Yes, that is next week. So prior to the deadline, all entities must file with the respective regulation authority the relevant information required on their RBO directors and shareholders. After the deadline, you have to notify the applicable authority of any changes to the RBO or beneficial interests in the entity within 15 days of that change taking place. So what are RBOs and nominal members? RBOs are, real beneficial owners that own over 25% of the share capital of the company. This doesn't mean it's just a legal person. It has to be a natural person, i.e. an actual living, breathing human being. So you have to trace it up through the relevant corporate structures that you have in place to show who the real owners are. A board nominal member is any natural member who acts in accordance with the guidelines, instructions, or will of another person. So that includes directors, shadow directors, power of attorney holders that are actually active in the company and in their shareholding structure. Which brings me to my last point. What is a statutory registry? It's a record-keeping tool that documents important aspects of the structure and operation of the company. So traditionally, businesses have financial accounts. This is something very similar to that. You need to maintain these, these accounts and records to show existing shareholders, existing directors, and any kind of operational components in relation to the senior management. Now, in line with the new UBO resolution, the statutory registry must include three things. It must include a register of nominal members and directors. It must include a register of partners and shareholders, and it must include a register of your real beneficial owners. So we're going to take a look now and see what does a statutory register look like. So statutory registers start off with a company, front page. So you'll insert your company name, you'll write the most recent date that you've updated it, okay? And then you put in your company number, date of incorporation, and registered office address. This is something to mention here is you need to always keep a master Word version. This is going to be the one that you always update in a Word format. Keep it in a secure location. If you need to, have a password encrypted, and don't allow a lot of people to have access to it. This is as sensitive as financial records. So every time you make an update to your statutory register, always remember to save it as a separate statutory register with the applicable update date and save it as a PDF stamp it, and when needed, submit it to the applicable authority. We'll start off with the register of nominal members and directors. As you can see here, the parameters that are required are in line with the law. So we have here the update date, the company, you put in your trade license number, the name. Always make sure that the name is as it appears on a passport or Emirates ID. You put in the date of birth, the nationality, country, occupation. Sometimes they do have other jobs. And then the appointment date, as well as the board member's position. So it could be chairman, chief executive officer, chief technology officer, chief operating officer, whatever his designation in his board member position is. So to see what that looks like in practice, we have here Simpsons LLC. We have the director being Homer Simpson, the service address being 742 Evergreen Terrace, Springfield, USA. You can see here that he is a national of the US. His existing occupation is a nuclear power plant safety engineer. And you can see that he was appointed as chairman of Simpsons LLC on November 17th, 2018. It's always important to keep a notes section at the bottom of each of these registers, because there might be additional information that you would like to put in, but you don't want to alter the parameters too much. And it's something for your own personal record keeping as well. So now we'll talk about the register of partners and shareholders. You need to maintain a different register for individuals, shareholders, and a different register for corporate shareholders, whereby a company owns shares in another company. So here we have, this is for an individual. Once again, we have the update date, the company name, the company number. And then here we put in his name, service address, place of birth, name and address of an existing employer, if any, his nationality, i.e. the passport that he's registered with, date of entry as a member, and if need be, date of membership cease. So if he transfers his shares and he's no longer a shareholder in the company. The share class. So currently, for the time being, we only have ordinary shares in most free zone and mainland entities. We're not allowed to issue separate classes of shares, with the exception of, for example, DIFC and ADGM. And then we have a share currency. It can be in dirhams, it could be in dollars, whatever your existing structure is, but in all likelihood, for the UAE, it's Emirati dirhams. Now, this is very important. This is what we call the register reference section. This shows you the entire history of transactions of shares being transferred from and to. So as this, for example, and I'll come back to this in a minute. Always, when you're putting in your company shareholder information for the individuals, attach a true copy of his passport. Always have that on record. When I mean true copy, it needs to show that it's a certified true copy, either from a notary public or a law firm that says that he's viewed the original passport and that the copy that he is signing is a certified true copy. This is in line with the new UBO resolution. This is a register of partners and shareholders for corporate shareholders here. So now, instead of we have to have the name of the company, the legal form, the articles of association, the service address, date of entry. Once again, we have the share class and share currency. Then we also have the senior positions. Now, this is when we're talking about the senior positions, we're talking about members of that corporate shareholder that actually have significant management in the company. So this includes CEOs, CFOs, once again, the senior management that effectively run the corporate shareholder entity. You'll see the parameters are here. They want their passport number, issuing date, issuing authority. Sometimes you'll have a nominal member. So if they have appointed a director on the existing company board, they're going to need that information as well. Once again, we have the register reference section. For this, you need to attach articles of association or any similar documents as approved by the relevant authority in the state. What that means is for example, if we have a Delaware S-Corp that is a holding company in a UAE entity, you're going to need to attach the articles of association. But some S-Corps in Delaware, for example, don't necessarily have articles of incorporation, but they have something like a certificate of incorporation or any kind of document that's issued by the state of Delaware. So you're going to have to attach that so that it can be approved by the applicable authority here in the UAE. If your company is outside of the UAE, that if the corporate shareholder is outside of the UAE, you need to have an address and a name of a legal representative in the UAE, and it needs to be evidenced. So you need to have some kind of documentation between the corporate shareholder and the local representative here that they are their representative in the UAE. So to see what this would look like in practice, we're using here, for example, the company's name is NBC Studios. The company number is mentioned. Now, the corporate shareholder here is Friends LLC. We have their service address, and then we have, which is located in California, which means that they need to show a UAE representative. So here we have Hamdan AlShamsi, lawyers and legal consultants, and here's actually where our offices are. And then we have here the date of entry as a member is 2018, and then we have the classes. And then we have to show the senior positions of the Friends LLC. So here we have Joey Tribbiani, we have his full address, here's his passport number, and then we have the history of the shares being transferred. So here, for example, we have 26 of 2018. He received, he received these shares, these 29 shares from Chandler Bank. Lastly, we have the register of beneficial members. Now, this is, once again, anyone that owns over 25% of the company, and it needs to be the real natural person, not a legal person. So we have to show the name, the service address, the passport number ID, the nationality, passport date, passport expiry date, the method of the share acquisition, and the date of the acquisition. This is a new guideline that wasn't traditionally in other jurisdictions, but this is in line with the new UBO resolution here in the UAE. And then if they no longer are a beneficiary, if they no longer own more than 25%, then you have to mention that date as well. Once again, I emphasize the notes section. Always have that in your statutory registers. For example, here we have Seinfeld Inc. LLC. Company number, we have the real beneficial owner is Jerry Seinfeld, and we have his address, his passport number, nationality, date of issue, expiry. For the method of acquisition, I've mentioned here initial subscriber. What that means is that he was the original founder of the company. But then you'll have to say if he received those shares, you'll have to mention exactly how he received those shares, and then you have to mention if he's been terminated. From my end, that's it. If you have any questions or concerns, please let us know. We will be notifying you with the relevant contact information in the link. Thank you for your time, and if you need anything else, please don't hesitate to let us know.